Hi everyone, welcome back to Grandpa Mark's Hobbies and update number 1 on Revell's Shelby 427 Cobra SC kit. You're going to like this one. Let me get the guys out of the way. They've been busting tail on this body and it really shows. I'm going to pull you down just a smidge. This is so far all Kaleido paints and primers. I used Kaleido's gloss black primer. First time I've ever used a gloss black primer. And I did a video on using the gloss black primer and the blue. And you could see on that one where as soon as I hit that blue over that gloss black, it was like, yeah, I really like this color. And I'll be honest with you, what you're seeing and what I'm seeing is a little bit different, because this is actually just a smidge darker and deeper than what my camera is picking up, because I'm using an iPhone camera and that's the best I can do. But what I did is I taped the hood in place and sprayed everything, because I wanted that, you know, you want the hood to drop in and line up. So when I taped everything off, and I had a video of me spraying the black stripes on here, but over at the spray booth, I'm about 1.5 miles away from the computer, and I forgot to hit the go button to record. I was all excited. I went to stop the recording and was like, you gotta be kidding me. So, and I didn't even get a picture of it, but all I did is I took, and I'll pull it out here. I should already had it out. Tamiya's thinnest yellow tape. I didn't use the white tape because I dropped the white tape on the ground and it's a little bit fuzzy, and I didn't want to take the chance of any of that showing up on here. So this comes in a nice little plastic protector, and I just pulled it off and I ran from the front all the way around to the back, slowly pulling it down as I went all the way around. Got that in place, sliced it off here and rolled it, sliced it off there and rolled it, took my fingernail and I broke the tape right here. And I knew when I did that that paint was going to try to run in that crack. It doesn't matter, because the inside of that's getting painted black. And same with the back here. If you look, you can see it tried to run just a smidge. I didn't care, because this is all going to get panel lined and it'll all match out. So I didn't have to worry about it. If I was doing a body stripe or something, then it would have been a different color, or if I wasn't using the black. But it went perfect for me. It took me about an hour to get the tape all perfect and where I wanted it. And again, this is the middle, and I took 4 pieces of this and I put them 1, 2, 3, 4 right up against this tape here, and then I ran a length of tape down. I used the smaller because it was easier to maneuver. I used this and ran down along those pieces of tape here. Look at, I got a fingerprint on there. All the way down, and then again cut it off and fold it everywhere. And I even wrapped the front because I like that look. But then I started using the bigger tape and I taped the whole thing off. I still haven't used my frog tape, the green wide tape, because this, I was afraid I would get a little wrinkle or something and it would have got up behind it. Where I know with this, I was able to push it straight down on the body and not worry about peeling off anything or screwing anything up, because I sure don't want to screw up that blue. And again, I wish you could see that color for what it really is. I'm hoping to get it done and taking it up to Kurtzville for the model show up there. But after tonight, it has to go back in the box until I finish my 2 October group builds. Our 24-hour build, which is coming up on the 11th, And October 1st, which is tomorrow, we're starting our Facebook group page is starting the October group build, which is Route 66. And this probably would have been really cool to do for Route 66, but I got something else. We're not talking about it until the first update. You already seen it once, but that was just in an unboxing. But anyhow, the body came out great. I plan on painting all this the black anyhow. I still got to scrape all that off. I was just really excited to get the paint on there. And the door panels right in here, if you look, this is scalloped. So you're going to see that door panel back in there, and I'm just going to paint that black. Not sure what color the original Cobra was, but since I'm not using the original stripe colors and the rim colors or anything, it doesn't matter. It's whatever I want to do. So I want that black. We're going to do an aluminum underside on here. The black in here, and I think all the textures and everything will work out good. I'm going to do black inside here. Of course, I got to have a black interior on this. It screams that. But I'll have a black interior. My frame, I'm thinking I'm going to use the Kaleidos gunmetal on this frame, and then come back and use some semi-gloss blacks and flat blacks. And then I will take, since this is going to be that dark color, I'm going to take aluminum and I'm going to paint this pan aluminum too. So the bottom of this and that will all look pretty decent, I think. And then my suspension will get painted up different colors. And I'm telling you, the reason why I wanted to bring you here is because I wanted to show you the detail. I mean, yeah, I'm jazzed about the color of the paint and everything and how well it went down, but more jazzed about how much dang detail is in this car. Now, a lot of these I've gone through, and this one I haven't. Clean that mold line off. That's what I did most of the night last night for about an hour and 40 minutes, and I'm about maybe halfway through cleaning all the parts. I do have the engine sub-assembled. No, I'll pull you back out. I'm missing the mark here. I do have the engine sub-assembled where the two frames, the two halves are gone together. I'm going to prime this also with the gloss black primer, and then I'm going to paint the engine block the black. Transmission will get painted the aluminum along with the bell housing. Let me grab them because they're awesome. I'm going to do my heads in aluminum. I've already drilled them out. They had spark plugs in them. I drilled them out for the spark plug wires, and all I did is I heated up a dental tool with a lighter and then put it in there, gave it a little turn, and pulled it back out, and then used that as my guide for drilling them out, because I just literally melted the spark plug out of the way, because there's no way that the drill would have gone down on top of that spark plug. It would have wandered and never got a good clean drill. So there's those. Those are going to be aluminum. This intake, massive intake, is going to get aluminum also. But again, look at the detail here. This was chromed, and it was meh, but chrome. So I threw it in the the Purple Power, and 20 minutes later I pulled it back out, and man, I'm telling you, there's texture on here, good detail, nice deep. It's going to look great. And the alternator got stripped. It fit on here. I had to cut a toothpick down about 12 times before it locked on. But look at the detail on this alternator. It looks great. And I'm going to do it aluminum, and then I'll panel line it. But I mean, look, we even got the long bolt and the short bolt for putting it on. It's awesome. Very nice. I'm going to save the carb for one of the last things, because daggone is it sharp. I stripped the stick shift and got it clean. I don't know if I stripped it or not, but I got it all cleaned. I'm holding on to the ball. I wasn't sure if there was a button on there. Here, that's where the mounting thing is. So I have to round that off. The ball will probably get painted white, and if it does, I'll probably use a pencil to mark out the shift pattern on there, because there's no way. I've tried them before. This thing comes somewhere on here. I don't have my... Here we go. It comes with the shift pattern, but danged if I'd be able to see that. And it's white, and I want to have a white ball on there with the black shift, with the black lines. Dashboard, good detail in there. It does come with the gauges, so we'll probably use the decals to go in there, and this will get painted black along with the interior. The firewall, check the firewall out. Very nice. I'm going to ask a question. I think I'm right. Is this the vacuum collector? I think it is, but it could be the oil filter. It's got a like a fill on here, so I'm figuring it's the oil filter, but I wasn't sure. But good detail on there. I mean, seriously, I could go nuts wiring this thing. I really could. It even has the placard, and it has a decal for the placard too. So we'll be using that. And just a whole lot of really fine cleanup work. But look at the water pump. I mean, gee whiz, man. The water pump's awesome. Everything. This took me a little while. There was a pretty good mold line right there that showed up really bad, and the springs needed a little bit of loving. And the springs, I just used my triangle file and went in there at an angle this way, and I rock it back and forth, and that way you get rid of that mold line in there that just really shows up so stinking bad. So something about being round and having a mold line show up, it just draws your eye to it and takes away the Hollywood, I guess we'll call it. Valve covers. Valve covers are out here somewhere. I just had them stripped. There they are. There's the valve covers. I stripped them because I want to do them in the aluminum. Or, I'm sorry. I'm doing them black. And then I'm going to come back with the Future Firm, and I'm going to dry brush the highlights on this. But I wanted to do these black with the aluminum intake and valve covers. This is just laying on here. I will do that aluminum. I just have it sitting here now so I don't lose it. I should, well, I'll do it right now. I'm going to pop that off. And I'm going to put it on with this because this is getting painted aluminum. That's that carburetor bathtub. I want to think that that's when the hood comes down, that scoop is right over top of that and drives that air into the carb. But that's supposed to be painted aluminum. I will probably drill a hole through here and run my linkage in there and another hole in there to run the fuel line. And I'm going to do it right now because we're talking about all this. And hold on to your hat, because look at how awesome this carburetor is. It's got the linkage in it already set up. All I have to do is paint it real nice, and I'll drill a little hole and run a line out. It's got the fuel lines already run to both ends of the Holly. It's just, man, is it just detailed like crazy. I can't wait to paint it. I will paint it base color of aluminum, and then we'll come back with titanium gold and do all the highlights for the bowls and everything. I'll use some copper on here for the the hoses, and we'll use some kind of a blue or something like that for the end here where it ties into the main fuel line for those blue anodized aluminum nuts. But, I mean, come on. All that detail was covered up with chrome. These holes were full with chrome. And as soon as it hit the purple power, I saw the holes in there, and I thought, oh, I'm melting my plastic. And I pulled it out real quick, and then I realized that there were fuel lines. So, how cool is that? I stripped the windshield again, just so I could get rid of the mold line across the top and the sides, and then I'll re-chrome that. I would have never done this if I didn't have the Future Firm. Between the Future Firm and the new Kaleido paints, I feel like I'm in a whole different ball game. Everything is easier now. So, and I'm literally, I am blowing smoke. I mean, I'm tooting their horn because, dang it, man, that's really good stuff. Here's our drive shaft. Again, everything, there was mold lines like crazy on there. I think I got them all. We'll find out when I hit it with the aluminum, and then I come back and I'll scrape it. But I think what I'm going to do is the two ends of the universal joints, I'm going to do in either aluminum or tungsten, and then this I'm going to do in gunmetal. I think that'll look really sharp and really stand out underneath there. And again, I'm not worried about what colors are right, what colors are wrong. I just want it to look nice because it's not stock or anything like that. It's what somebody made it, and that will be me. My knockoffs. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go aluminum with the knockoffs with the chrome centers, and then with the rims, I'm going to go, I think, and here's a picture of what I'm going for. This is an A, and then this is B, and you guys tell me which one you like. Put them in the description. Give me a comment and tell me which one you think would look better on here. Again, no-name tires. They're just rubber tree tires, but they look good. They got decent tread, so they'll be all right. And I think they're going to look really sharp with the rims either way. And I'm having a hard time. I've literally been waffling back and forth for a couple of days with those, just trying to figure out what I want to do. I just pulled this out of the Purple Power. It had a really nasty mold line right here running down it, and with the chrome it showed up even more. So I threw it in the Purple Power. I'll clean that all up. I'll grab it by one of these little tiny holders here. Yeah, you can see that mold line in there. But I'll grab it with one of these, and then I'll chrome that all up. And I think minimal chrome on here with this and the hood, I think it'll look good. I still got to drill these out. I should have done that before I painted. So that'll be a good test for the Kaleido. What I'll do is I'll get just to where I'm breaking through, and then I'll drill through this way. But we're going good here. The exhaust. My God, there's 8 pieces to the exhaust. There's 2 right here, and every one of them had a mold line in it, major mold line on there. So I cleaned all those off. They will go to the heads like this, facing kind of up because the heads are turned. Yeah, I got the heads this way. They'll go on there like that on the head. And they're going to be the aluminum too. So I'm going to glue those on rock hard. And then I'll paint both of them at the same time. And that way I won't have any problems at all with those. But both sides, two pieces, they went together well. There's two little marks in there where it goes, and it's only one way it can fit, and it has to go that way, and then you just clamp them down and you're done. And again, they're really easy to do. I just used my flipped over clothespins to hold them on the end, and I put the glue, dripped it right in here and right in there, and locked them tight. So there's that. Let me put this head back before I spend an hour and a half looking for it. And now comes the rest of the exhaust. And these things, these are two pieces, but check that out. It's got a good place where it'll mount. It's got a good place where it'll mount onto here. Good positive lock. How about if I put it on the right way? Just like that. And what I'm planning on doing with these is I think I'm going to do them like a almost black gray, so it looks like they're powder coated. And I think that'll look really smart with the engine or with the body. But again, huge mold line right where the seam went together on these. And then I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's some putty right there. There was gaposis where this piece dropped down onto that piece so that they have this little hole. Not very deep, but deep enough because it's going to be facing like down and out. So you really won't see that that's not all the way back. But you really can't drill it out either, because if you do, you're going to blow all your putty out, and this is going to try to split. So I'm going to just be happy with that. And I think once we get everything done, and it's going to be dark, and then I'm going to hit it with the just black acrylic inside there, I think that'll look good. But I think these are going to look really good, the powder coated. So there's our exhaust, which is, crazy detailed. The whole thing is crazy detailed. Again, with the chassis, we have our vents. We have, geez. But, again, it took forever to clean these mold lines off. So if you're shy about doing mold lines, this isn't the kit for you. They weren't huge, but the whole thing had a good one. It was just like the sprue mold line. It was just like that, where your nail's going to catch on it like that. And it just needed work. But then you got detail like that. So if you like the detail work and you like the detail paint, this is going to be a cool car. And I'm thinking, and again, leave me a comment down here what you think. These things, the cushions look really good in there. The outside is plastic. And what I was thinking of doing was, and here, look at, that's what I'm talking about with the mold lines. Nothing flows. This is all going to be one piece. Yeah, the cushion's going to separate up here. So that should be there, but this should all blend in down here. At least I think, and mine's going to do it. But what I was thinking of doing was painting the seat back and sides a black, and then doing the seats in a dark blue. And I don't have the bottle over here, but Kaleidos Base Colors has a really dark blue that I think would look pretty cool on here after I paint the whole thing with gloss black primer. And then what I can do is I can start, going on an angle this way. I'll tape all this off, or I'll paint all that black after. But what I do is I'm going to come in at an angle this way, and then come at an angle that way across the seats, and that'll leave the centers dark. And it'll do its own little highlight to show this off. But I think that in there with the black and everything, and the black interior with the black and the blue seats. I think that'll look pretty cool. And then again, we got our steering wheel in chrome still, because I'm not going to strip it, because out of everything, that's the nicest looking part of the chrome right there. This part is going to be wood grain, so I can get nasty and sand all that as much as I want. It won't matter. And then we'll come back and we'll do our wood grain on that. And then, but that chrome, it looks great. It's open. So I'm going to leave it go. We'll do the center in black and be good with it. So we're getting there. I still have this much to clean. And it's, like I said, it's going back in the box tonight. For tomorrow is our October group build, Route 66. And I've been wanting to do that build for quite a while, and now I have an excuse. So with that, how about if we thank Gallery for everything they've done for us. Their new paints are amazing. Their new brushes, and they put the paint down nice. Even the holders that I got now are awesome. So if you want to get something Gallery, don't forget, use Grandpa Mark in the coupon code, and you'll get 10% off your order. Let's not forget our 24-hour group build that's coming up October 11th of 2025. I'm saying that because this video will be around for a while. Myself and Lenny and Bruce and Jason are going to be back and forth all night. Zach's going to be in the highlights in the back. He's going to be reading comments and stuff like that as they come in and keeping me in coffee and Diet Dr. Thunder. But seriously, we got a bunch of people that have been talking to us about this, and as the night goes on, Bruce, I think, is going to be able to bring people in so that they'll be able to show what they're doing and how their builds are going too. So it's not going to just be the three of us standing there for people to make bets on who's going to fall out the chair first. We're going to have other people that maybe they'll fall out of their chair too. So we'll go with that. Let's thank our veterans, our active duty people, and our first responders, because they're putting it on the line every day, and I thank you and salute each and every one of you. And with that, how about if we call it quits here? Again, I hate to put this back in the box, but I'm really looking forward to what's coming down the pike. So I will let you all go with that. You all have a great day, a better tomorrow, and thank you very much for watching. No, Chandler, you can't stay in there until we're done building the other one. You have to help that too. Sorry, bud. To be continued.